Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the world and another funky fold. So this is the card I'm going to share with you today, and when you open it up like that, then you get this lovely pop out piece, and then this is where you're going to write your "To You, love from me." So that is my one version. My other version I'm going to do in shades of mauve, and this was inspired by this paper pack that I bought for my junk journaling, and I just loved what was in it, and I thought this would be perfect for doing this card. This was from another paper pack that I had, and so let me share with you how I made my card. So I have done some prep ahead of time. I've got my pieces cut out here, and I'm just gonna start by because there's so many bits of paper, I'm gonna start by sticking some of them down so that I've got some control. Now this paper, I love this sheet of paper because it has like the lace at the top. It's got polka dots on the back, so I could have chosen either one, but this paper pack is an 8x8, so this was perfect for doing this size card. I was able to get 2 pieces out, and then I've got some scrappy pieces I'd perhaps be able to use on an artist trading card or something like that. So there, I'm going to pop this back layer down here, and then the next one right next to it. Like that. There we go. So I'm going to let that dry a little bit, because when I come to sort of put the pop out mechanism on, I want to make sure that it's not going to come off. This paper's not going to come off when I do that. And then I've got my front pieces, and I chose another paper from the pack, and I'm layering this on white so that it, and you can see actually this was like the back cover, but with these paper packs, they're from Stampery. I love the fact that the front cover, the inside of the front cover and the inside of the back cover are usable pieces of decorative paper, and so you're not sort of wasting the front and the back covers. They're just lovely. Right, now with this card, because I've got so many layers, I am not going to be attaching any of my layers, except perhaps my front decorative piece, with sticky foam pads. I think that with as much bulk as going into the envelope, I might find that it gets too thick for the post. So those are my basic layers that I just want to set up while we work on the next bit. So my pop-up mechanism uses this piece of card here, and it's 8 by is it 4 3/4? Yeah, 4 3/4, and I'm going to score it. Real easy to remember the score lines, she says optimistically. Just check my notes a minute. So I'm going to score along the long side here at 2, 4 and 6 inches, and then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to be measuring down. I'm creating this pop out, and I want the slant And so I'm going to be measuring 2 inches from the top, or sorry, from the bottom. So I'm going to just take my ruler, and I just make a little mark. As always, I've never got a pencil handy, never. If you've watched any of my videos before, you'll know that I've never got a pencil. I'm just going to put my top on this glue because it's a solvent glue, and it will set in the blink of an eye. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take where my mark is here, and I'm going to line up my opposite corner. I need to get you in shot, don't I? I'm going to take the opposite corner here. So, and then just line up. Let's bring this down a bit. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get everything in, but I'm just lining those 2 points up over the groove in my cutter, and I'm just going to slide that back down so I've got a nice slope on there. Right, so then we're going to want this piece. Okay, this first fold is going to be a valley fold, the second fold is going to be a mountain, and the third is going to be another valley fold. So we end up with a piece like this, and I'm going to go ahead and get some nice creases in so that it sits as flat as we can make it once we get it into the main card. Okay, so as you can see, when it goes into the card, it's going to go there and there, and you've got your pop out piece. Okay, now we've got some pretty papers, and these papers again from the same pack, and they go down in size like this. And if you look below this video, you will see a link to my blog, and it will actually have these measurements on. So now we want to make these layers sloping. So what we're going to do is, and I did have, there they are, tucked neatly away. We're going to slide this piece up, making sure it's sort of centered in the panel. Slide it up to what would be double your margin there. And then we're just going to attach a couple of paper clips to hold it steady. Flip it over and cut it in line with the card. Now you could measure, you could put a pencil mark and use your cutter, but to be honest with you, I just find it so easy, because when you slide it down again, look, you've got your nice margin. I find it just so much easier to just lay it down. I think sometimes if this top edge is level with your card base, that might be a good point to look for. And then we're just going to trim it down. And you can see how quick this is. I have tried in the past with lines, pencil lines, with measuring, with taking angles, and every time I just come back to this method. So just line that up. Okay. Flip it over. And the last one, the tinsy one on the end. Again, I'm just going to line it up. Now, when I do my videos, I tend to publish them with straight, without any editing. They don't speed up or anything like that. Partly because it kind of makes it kind of realistic. Sometimes when we're doing things like this, just to sort of see it once and then to have the rest of it sped up, sometimes you can sort of lose the technique. And the other reason is that, to put it bluntly, I don't know how to do it. And I know that there's all sorts of tools and you can always, but you know, I'd rather spend my time creating rather than editing. Because to be honest with you, that's what we want to do. We want to create. We don't necessarily, although it is fancy. I mean, I admire people that can do it. And I'm sure if I took the time to do it, learn how to do it, it's quite quick. But at the moment, plus, I'm not prepared to pay if I've got to buy any software. That's not what I do. All right, so I'm going to put 2 little pieces on here, some white pieces. So we're just going to do the same as we've done. So again, you're going to bear with me. Now, come on, behave. That paper clip is being really stubborn. It's really holding it in place. I'm gonna have to take it off, start again. There we go. There we are. And just trim that down. Pop that on one side a minute because we're going to do a little bit of adding some ink onto it. There we go. Right, so I'll get rid of those bits. So my ink is very simple. I've just decided that I'm going to put a little bit of decoration on. So I'm going to use one of these lovely decorative pieces there, and let's see, let's use, I've got 2 purples. I got Pale Fig or Crushed Velvet. Maybe I'll use Crushed Velvet. I've not used these before. They're brand new inks. And let's just see what it looks like. Ooh, nice. So I'm just going to put a little bit of ink down here just to take the whiteness away. So that's that bit easy. And then with it, I've got a happy birthday stamp here. And with my little piece of card, okay, you can use any happy birthday that you've got in your stash. This is a bit wide for my piece of card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask the birthday. Just a piece of plain sticky tape that you wrap your gifts with. Press that firmly down and then add some ink. And then I can remove that like that, put it somewhere safe. And then I can just add my happy there, like that. And then just a little bit of damp cloth to take that off of there. like that. And then another piece of tape to cover up the happy. Like that. And I'm just putting it in, trying to make sure that the happy doesn't really go in the ink, but just masking it in case it does. And so then I'm going to pop the birthday down here. There. And then that gives me my two pieces. So we can pop this one here, and I like to use, if you've watched me follow me on my channel, I like to use liquid glue because it gives me a chance to just sort of smoosh the piece around and make sure that I've got it layered nice and evenly. So it's just like a thin bead, not too much and not too little. That one didn't work as well, but never mind. I'll worry about that another time. Okay, so there's my pieces. So in order to put these together like that, okay, we're going to lay it out to see where it needs to go. And so I can see that to get a nice little layer of everything around, I need to put that there. So I'm just going to fold that back and add some adhesive. And then I'm just going to gently place it, just double checking everything is where I want it to be. Press that firmly down. And then this piece, I'm going to fold back. Like that. Managed to get a little blob there. And then just gently fold it down. I'm going to close this up. There we go. And let that set for a few moments. And there we've got our card with a little pop-up in there. That gives us that. So we just got a nice little front piece, just something on the front. Now this one here, I had some ribbon that would match. Don't have any ribbon that I could use for this. White would be perfect, but I don't have any. Most of my goodies are still in storage. So I am going to use one of these, and I was flicking through and I found these. Aren't they just gorgeous? And so I'm gonna just take one. Now this would be great for a junk journal on the back because you'd be able to use those as little journaling cards, but I'm just going to use this one here. I'm going to see if I can just take it out without cutting the rest of them down. So let's just go like that, and like that. And there I've got my nice piece. Maybe I'll just trim a little bit of that off. There and there. You can still see, good. I have to keep making sure I'm in camera shot and don't keep drifting away. And then if I get a piece of white card, we could, because I think it might get a bit lost on the front of this. Might just be a little bit lost. So if we put it on a white layer, let's clear the decks a little bit so we can see what we're doing here. And we can just layer it up, and then that kind of is in keeping with the front here. So that actually is 2 5/8. So if I make this 2 7/8, let's do 2 7/8 and see what we like. 2 7/8, 2 7/8. See, I think that is a bit too much. I'm going to cut it down a tiny bit and get a finer, so maybe I'll do 2 3/4 inches to make that front piece a little bit. Yes, I like that better. I like that better. Ooh. Oh good, these are all lined up, so I've only sacrificed one of these blank ones. And then we can add a couple of some adhesive backed. Here they are, adhesive backed foam dots. Oops. Like that. Well, I didn't really want 2 there, but it looks like I've got 2 there. These are quite tiny for my nails, so let's just use this. Oh, okay. And pop that on here. Now the other thing that was in this paper pack, which really took my attention, were these little circly things. Aren't these cute? Now I measured them and I found a punch, and that's 1 1/2. So I think we need 1 3/4 punch, and we can get that pretty decorative circle out. It did occur that maybe I could put it in here, but looking at the front here, I wonder if I could put it there. No, I'm going to pop it on the inside just to add just a little bit of decoration to these, to this one here. Like that. I think I like that. And then I'm just going to add a couple of pearls to just finish the front off. And maybe, just maybe, when I can get my hands on some of the right colour ribbon, maybe I'll just add some ribbon onto it at some point. But there, I think I'm going to leave it like that. I'll just get my other one in to show you how, you know, different colours can appear differently, but you know, the same card can be created out of anything that happens to be in your stash. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, perhaps you'll go ahead, give me a thumbs up. I certainly appreciate you choosing to spend some time with me today, and I will look forward to seeing you next time with another idea. Bye-bye for now.